Is really useful when you have four-term polynomials. A lot of times this will help you factor. We're also going to use it when we factor trinomials by rewriting them as four-term polynomials and grouping. Sorry about my dog barking in the background, can't help it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by grouping terms 1 and 2 together, the first two terms, and then group terms 3 and 4 together, the last two terms. Group the first two terms, then group the last two terms, okay? Then you're going to want to pull out the greatest common factor of each group, right? Now what you have is you have two sets of parentheses. By using this process, though what's inside those parentheses should match. And then we're going to factor out, that's called a common binomial. We're going to factor that out. And then we're going to rewrite our final product of our final factoring as the product of two binomials. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to factor out a GCF first and then do factoring by grouping. Okay? So it kind of layers right on top of each other. Let's start off easy. We have these four terms that we want to factor. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to group terms 1 and 2, and then we're going to group terms 3 and 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to factor out the greatest common factor between 8a squared and 10ab squared. And what we have is we have a 2a. And when I divide 8 by 2, I get 4. A squared by a, I get a. Plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. A divided by a is 1, and then b squared. Now I'm going to factor out 4 and 5 have just 1. There's no a's. It looks like I just have a b that I can factor out. 4 divided by 1 is 4. A divided by 1 is a. B divided by b is 1. 5 divided by 1 is 5. B cubed divided by b is b squared. Now, see what happens here? I'm going to highlight this. You might want to use colored pencils or something, or a highlighter. Those are exactly the same. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor this whole thing out. I'm going to factor this whole thing out. So remember, what that means is I'm going to divide each one of these terms by that. And what's left? Well, if I factor it out, I move it to the front. Okay? So I move it to the front, and then I have to do my division. So what's 2a times 4a plus 5b squared, all divided by 4a plus 5b squared? Well, you're left with 2a. And then what's b times 4a plus 5b squared, all divided by 4a plus 5b squared. These are identical, so they cancel, and you're left with b. And you're done. So what happens over and over again is what is in your parentheses is one binomial, and what's out in front that I circled, those combine to be your second binomial, and it happens like that every single time. Now sometimes you have to reorder the terms. I've gone through this and checked this, so I'm not going to do it wrong the first time. I'm not going to use up video time for that, but this thing needs to be reordered as AB plus 4a squared b plus 3cd plus 12acd. And now I'm going to group these two terms and these two terms. And I'm through here and here. Now I'm going to factor out an a and a b out of the first one. and that leaves me 1 plus 4a. And then I'm going to factor out a 3cd, which is going to leave me 1 plus 4a on the inside. So here's what I did. I factored out an AB, right? So a divided by a is 1, b divided by b is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. 4 divided by 1 is 4, a squared divided by a is a, b divided by b cancels, that's a 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1, c divided by c is 1, d divided by d is 1. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4, a divided by 1 is a, c and d both cancel. Now I have a common binomial on the inside here. So I'm going to factor that out. So I move it to the front, just it's like my greatest common factor. And then what's left over are the two terms out in front, and it becomes AB plus 3CD. Factoring by grouping. I know you did this with Mr. Z. Okay. All right, let's try another one here. This one, I'm going to factor out a greatest common factor of 5 first. I'm going to factor out a 5, and that gives me 8xy plus 6x minus 20y minus 15. Okay, now I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to star it, and I'm going to keep it up and tucked away so it doesn't get messed up with my other stuff. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to group 8xy plus 6x. I'm going to group that together. Now watch how I handled all these negatives here. Plus, and then I put my negative 20y minus 15 inside the parentheses. Okay. Now I'm going to factor out a 2x, and that's going to give me 4y plus 3. And remember, we want this to match, so I'm going to have to factor out a negative 5, which is going to give me negative 20 divided by negative 5 gives me positive 4y. Negative 15 divided by negative 5 gives me a positive 3. Trust me, do it like this because it will save you errors in sign errors. And now I have a match. So I'm going to factor that one 4y plus 3 out. And when I do, I'm left with my other binomial is made up of the two greatest common factors that I factored out earlier, 2x minus 5. And I'm done. We're going to work on the worksheet. If you have it home with you, you might want to try some of the problems because we're going to grade it at the end of class. Thanks for watching.